Hello, it is I. Now, as you may know, Test Drive Unlimited is my favourite racing game franchise ever made. And a few days ago, we got some news about some brand new features we might be seeing in the sequel. So of course I had to compile 10 new features that we'll probably see in Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. Keyword probably, take these all with a pinch of salt. Now you already know the drill. 4,000 likes is the target as per usual. If you can hit that, then I'll make sure to cover way more Test Drive content in the near future. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into this video. Okay, now I touched upon this in one of my older videos, but now there is so much more evidence to suggest this. Because a long while ago when you saw this teaser, there was a female character with many bracelets on which could very well be Tess Wintry. And there is also a male character who wears a suit with black leather driving gloves in a silver Aston Martin DB11. Just like Andrew Sullivan from TDU 2 who drives 3 different types of silver Aston Martin. Now yes, this is a bit of a stretch and is very vague, but listen up, yeah? Because in the last Nacon Connect livestream where they showed in-game footage, you get multiple silhouettes of different characters in the game. Well, one of the characters appears to be identical to this character you could choose in Test Drive Unlimited 1. This is uncanny. Either A, this is a very strange coincidence, B, they're using characters from the old game in the trailer for nostalgia, or C, we're going to be seeing old characters return in Solar Crown. And I'm really hoping it's the last one because the characters in the old games were amazing. It's exactly the type of characters we need in a racing game like this, come on.
Skengman mode, gloves, mask, jet black coat.
Now nightclubs were actually meant to be in Test Drive Unlimited too. Alex7 actually covered this in one of his videos, because in Ibiza there was a nightclub called Privilege Ibiza, which is actually fully rendered in TDU 2. But we never actually got it as a feature in the game, so yeah. It's a little bit sad, but we're probably going to be seeing nightclubs in TDU Solar Crown. Because in the trailer you see a nightclub where there's champagne spraying, people vibing, and a DJ performing. Yeah, and if you look in the background there is a vertical pole with what appears to be a female figure holding it, which might explain the Peggy 18 aspect about the game. Actually no, the 18 plus thing is probably to do with the casinos, which happens to be my next point. What a coincidence.
Wingman, left back flow, wigman, head back blown.
Now the casino is not a new feature, it was obviously seen in TDU 2, but this was as a DLC. Whereas in TDU Solar Crown, we're going to be seeing the casino in the base game, which is incredible. And obviously this is one of the reasons why the game is Peggy 18, so if you're under 18 and you're going to partake in gambling in this game, then naughty, I'll tell your mum. Also, something new about the casino in this new game is that we might be able to bet our cars. Because here we see a character, possibly Tess Wintry, tossing her car keys into this pile of chips, implying that she is putting a Range Rover on the line, which is pretty cool to see. So the reintroduction of the casino where you could bet your own car is a pretty cool feature. Speaking of cars and features, that's a terrible segue to the next chapter, I'm so embarrassing. New car features, let's go.
I was 19 with a gun twice my age.
Now Test Drive Unlimited games are renowned for their incredible features, like indicators, winding down your windows, and taking your roof off if you're in a convertible car. Yep, TDU's had that feature ever since 2006, what do you mean? And it seems like we're going to be seeing way more in this next game, because during the gameplay footage we saw in the Nacon Connect livestream, there was a scene which showed the steering wheel of a Lamborghini Huracan with boxes all over certain buttons, probably indicating that these buttons are actual functions in the game. Of course there were boxes over the horn, the headlight flashes, and the radio, which is nothing new, but there were also boxes on the windshield wipers, the driving mode selector, and possibly the hazard lights as well, all of which you could not toggle in the previous games. So yep, as an old Test Drive fan, this is very exciting to see. Although the indicators are not highlighted, which is pretty strange, so I do reckon we'll definitely be seeing indicators in the next game. Come on, it's a Test Drive game. Now this one, yeah, you really need to take with a pinch of salt. Actually, no, a tablespoon of salt, yeah. Big tablespoon, you know. Make sure it's heaped as well. Heaped tablespoon of salt, yeah. Anyways, I got this info from Alex7, a very notorious YouTuber in the TDU community. So if I'm wrong, then blame Alex. But during the Nacon Connect livestream where Alan, Jonu, and Yuwan were testing their engine for TDU Solar Crown, there was a moment where we saw a glimpse of the screen where there was a setting that mentioned fuel. Now most racing games don't simulate fuel unless it's a hardcore sim racing game. So for a driving game like TDU, I reckon we might be seeing fuel wear. But I don't think we'll be seeing fuel wear in free roam. I'm pretty sure the fuel wear will only be introduced through missions, as there might be a mission where you have to drive as sensibly as possible and get to a destination without running out of fuel. Because knowing TDU, they probably introduce missions like that into the game. Hey, their missions are so creative, I love them so much. But I personally would really like it if they can implement free roam fuel wear as well. Because in TDU 2, you could casually daily drive a Bugatti Veyron and drive thousands and thousands of miles in it, despite the car in real life only reaching like 8 miles per gallon. Because it would be really cool if you had to like sort of judge the car you drive depending on how far you're gonna drive it. So for long drives you could choose an economical car, but for short drives you could choose a hypercar or something. Yeah, that would be really cool, you know. Fuel wear in TDU Solar Crown, yeah? That's mad, you know.
I'm the murky co-founder, got the gift of the gap, hear me louder.
Now I won't be going through the cars we'll be seeing on Solar Crown because I've already covered them in a previous video, and Alex7 will probably make a detailed video on that topic as well. But something really interesting is that I'm suspecting that we might be seeing licensed traffic cars in the next game. Because if you played any of the older test drive games, you know that the traffic cars were awful. The physics were really weird, they had fully blacked out windows, and they were fictional. Kinda like GTA where they had to replicate the cars without having any licensing problems. Except in Test Drive Unlimited, they were really bad models. Whereas I reckon in Solar Crown we'll be seeing fully licensed traffic cars. Because during the trailer to the right of the screen here, there appears to be an identical copy of a Toyota Hiace van. And the red taxis to the left of the screen actually look like old Toyota Crowns. The resemblance is uncanny. So we might be seeing actually licensed cars as traffic cars in Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, which is fantastic. Now this may not sound like a big deal, but one of the biggest letdowns from the older games were just how awkward the traffic cars were. So the fact that the developers are actually improving them is very good news for us old test drive fans.
They couldn't figure how I pattern my flow, I stay cool when my catalog's cold and too nice.
Now during the Nacon Connect stream, they actually touched on car customization, as they said your cars are a part of your identity and you could customize them as much as you want. Yep, that was an actual quote from them, which is very exciting. And during the gameplay footage, the in-game characters spoke about how their cars are a reflection of themselves, meaning customization is practically confirmed to be in Solar Crown. Now we saw customization in the previous games in the form of speccing your car, choosing manufacturer wheels, and aftermarket vinyl wrapping. But I reckon we'll be seeing more customization in Solar Crown. Custom wheels and interior reupholstery are strong possibilities from the wording of the developers. Body kits I think will be a bit of a stretch, I think we might see small lip kits or something, but I'm not too fussed about the customization. Because in test drive games, the main focus is driving. And in this new test drive games, there is a big focus on the clans.
Old school like blues and benners, and I work hard like two Christianers.
Now one brand new standout feature we'll be seeing in Solar Crown is the introduction of clans. No, not that kind, get your dark humor out the way. The clans in Solar Crown are the streets and the shops. The streets are basically colourful, flamboyant, and they obviously care about the street culture, whereas the shops are more sophisticated as they obsess over luxury, elegance, and style. The way I see it is the streets are like the main characters in Need for Speed Payback, and the shops are like the house in Need for Speed Payback, if that even makes sense. It probably doesn't, I don't even know Need for Speed that well. And with these clans you get your very own headquarters. The streets have this dark HQ which sort of looks like a nightclub with neon lights all around, whereas the shops have a brighter space with glass walls, chandeliers, it all looks very nice and posh. You know what, I reckon I'll be choosing the shops clan. Look at how beautiful this HQ is, come on.
Celebrity deathmatch, one shot, lick at your head back, man.
Now the 1-to-1 scale islands were one of the standout features about the Test Drive Unlimited franchise, as they were absolutely huge and took multiple days to explore. However, one very noticeable problem with these maps were how very sparsely it was populated. And these maps weren't truly at a 1-to-1 scale. Look at how dense the roads look in real life, Ibiza, and then compare that to TDU 2. You could easily tell that they simplified the road network in the game's map. Whereas in TDU Solar Crown, I don't think the road networks will be simplified, because Hong Kong is 7 times smaller than Ibiza, and it's almost 20 times smaller than TDU 1's map. So I reckon the devs have a lot more time to work on the road networks instead of just creating a huge map like they did in TDU 1 and 2. And in the gameplay footage we saw in the Nacon Connect livestream, we saw a glimpse of the road network and it looks very, very dense. So I genuinely reckon that this map of Hong Kong Island is going to be at a 1-to-1 scale, with very accurate road networks, which I am really looking forward to. And yeah, speaking of the density, we're going to be seeing a lot more vegetation in this new game as well. Because in the older games, look at the trees and the scenery. It genuinely felt so incomplete. Whereas in these alpha screenshots of the game, you could definitely tell that the devs worked on the vegetation and the density of the overall map. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how good this game ends up looking, especially knowing that it's only going to be available on next-gen consoles. Speaking of the devil,
This way, obviously. I got pricks saying it onto me.
now if you're an Xbox One or a PS4 owner, this is very bad news, as it means you won't be able to play your game on your console. But if you're one of the next-gen players, or if you have a powerful PC, then this is fantastic news, because this is going to be the first ever race game to exclusively be next-gen only, meaning no dumbing down the game for old-gen consoles like we've seen Gran Turismo 7 and Forza Horizon 5. The devs are actually going to go ham with developing this game. Now the world textures are pretty good, but they're not to the level of Forza or Gran Turismo, though, but I don't really mind that as TDU games have always had a focus on features over graphics, which is how every video game franchise should be. So I am really looking forward to the sorts of features we'll be seeing in this new generation of console, because honestly, it could be pretty revolutionary. So if you own one of the old gen consoles, sell that console, sell your mom's Nissan Qashqai, remortgage your house and buy yourself a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, because this game you're really gonna want to try out. Test Drive Unlimited games are unlike nothing else. They have so many features which blows away any competition. So if you're bored of racing on Gran Turismo 7 or bored of Forza Horizon 5 being Forza, then Test Drive Unlimited Solo Crown is the game for you. I can assure you that you'd love the game, and I promise I wasn't paid to say any of that. Hello, did you enjoy this video? Or you did not enjoy this video? Well, I didn't give a shit, man. Watch this video up here and I'll be very, very happy. Also, if you want to subscribe to my channel, there's a button down below here, somewhere over here. I can never point to it. If you press it, you'll be directed to my channel where you can subscribe. Happy days, your mum is. Anyways, have a good one, guys. Cheers.